Hey, hope everybody's doing well today. December 18th, 2024. Yeah, I'm gonna make this kind of quick. I made some comments on Stephen A. Smith's show yesterday about him being sensitive and kind of acting like a 10-year-old. He got offended by some comments by Steven Jackson several months ago. I didn't like the comment either. Steven Jackson called him a snitch. And I didn't agree with that. I think that was being a little too harsh, but it was concerning the Russell Westbrook incident. And Stephen A. thought that Westbrook should be suspended. I did as well, but I went on and we moved forward. But Stephen A. Jackson, the snitch comment was made. And so Stephen A. Smith goes on his show yesterday or the day before yesterday, and he's telling people how Stephen Jackson commented that Stephen A. Smith deserves more money, and that he hopes that Stephen A. Smith gets this money. Very deserving. I know they're talking about maybe 20 million a year, and I'll say that he earns it. I'm not a big fan of his, but he's good at what he does. The journalism, the guy's good. He's on top of his job. But he got offended and started talking about Steven Jackson, bringing up the snitch comment, and that really offended him. And, he just went on this long story, a diatribe, or whatever he likes to use, and still talking about about Steven Jackson, I'm sorry, even though he says he's not sensitive. So I wrote him on his page last night on YouTube, and I told him that he sounded like a 10-year-old. You say you're not sensitive, but here you are talking about Steven Jackson again months later, instead of just thanking him for the comment of saying that you earned your money. So Stephen A. Smith decides he's going to respond to me. He says, you and I both know I'm much more mature than a 10-year-old. And I'll admit that I agree with that. And I didn't mean him being really 10 years old, literally like a 10-year-old. I didn't mean that. But it does. I told him he goes in on these NBA guys quite often. And I said he did the same thing with Kevin Durant. He got offended when KD didn't agree with him, and KD made some comments. And he's done the same with Jason Whitlock. I didn't mention Jason Whitlock to him, but I did mention Steven Jackson and Kevin Durant. And it bothers me because I hear Stephen A. Smith, a guy who averaged 2 points in college. I hear him talk about the Rasho Nesterovic and Tiago Splitter and Kwame Brown and that kind of stuff. That bothers me because, first of all, those guys played in the league that many people wish they could play in. It's been less than 5,000 people that have ever played in the NBA. So to act like those guys were pure bums, it bothers me. I never hear those guys go on a rant about Stephen A. and his journalism. I don't go on rants about him and his journalism. I might feel that some of his journalism is trash, but I'm not going to go out there and put that out in the national media in front of the people on ESPN, First Take, and talk about how bad I might think or how some other people might think that he's not great at his job. But to go in on these guys constantly, doing something that he could never do. He never played NBA. He wasn't even a decent college player. So to go on like he does about them, and you're basically trying to tarnish these guys' reputation that they've took years to build. Anyone that plays in the NBA, you're a special player because you've done what most can't do. I think Stephen A. is great at his job, but I also think those guys were great at their jobs. And to call them bust, I'll never agree with that. Because how could you be a bust when you're getting paid to play the game that you love and you're getting paid to play it in the best league in the world? So yeah, we had a little back and forth. Well, he didn't appreciate my comment about the 10-year-old, but I don't appreciate some of his comments. So we moved forward. But yeah, I had to get that out here today, and this is for everybody. Those guys have played their hearts out. It took a lot of work to get where they got in their careers. It took a lot of work where Stephen A. got in his career. And we have to respect that. When we start talking about players like they're bums and they're trash, I'll never agree with that because anyone that's played in the NBA, you're so much better than those who wish they could have played in the NBA. Some aspire to play NBA, but realistically, it'll never happen. I hope it happens for a lot more young people as we move forward, but don't set everything up in your life to build around being an NBA player because that's far from realistic for a lot of people. And respect the guys that have played the game. And that goes out to Anthony Edwards and several others who have a problem respecting the old school. I'm what they call old school, the OG or whatever. But the game has moved forward. Whether I like where we're at right now or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm hoping that the ratings can get back up, that they can do something to fix the situation. I know the ratings are down 28% this year, but hopefully they can get it back up and they can do it quickly. But as far as Stephen A. Smith, I wish him well. I think he deserves the money. But yeah, man, you get upset when people come at you. So stop coming at these athletes the wrong way. And in turn, people will stop doing that to you possibly. And as far as you and Jason Whitlock, you say you're not thin skinned. So keep it moving, my man. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe out there and happy holidays to you all.